I had no idea how long I'd been drifting out at sea. When I finally opened my eyes, an Italian fisherman was dragging me back from the edge of death. He looked down at me and asked, "Who are you?" And in that moment, I realized I didn't know. My name, my past, my identity, everything had been washed away like the tide. I stayed on the boat for a few days before we reached Naples. The captain was kind enough to give me some money. I made my way to Switzerland, broke, no ID, and nowhere to go. That first night, I slept on a park bench. Late that night, 2 patrol officers found me. Instinct kicked in. I took them down fast, and that scared me more than anything. Why do I even know how to do that? The next day, I went to a bank in Zurich. Something told me I needed to go there. When I opened a safety deposit box, I froze. Multiple passports, a stack of cash, a gun. Is this who I am? As I left the bank, I noticed someone following me. I ran into the US consulate, thinking I'd be safe. I was wrong. Things escalated fast. I barely made it out alive, slipping through the chaos. In an alley nearby, I saw her, Marie, the German girl I'd seen back at the consulate. I asked her to drive me to Paris. Offered her $20,000. She hesitated. She didn't trust me. Hell, I didn't trust myself, but she agreed. That's how our escape began, and I still had no idea who I really was. She drove. I stared out the window, watching Paris slowly wake up. She kept her distance. I couldn't blame her. I gave her the money, but I couldn't give her any answers. We arrived at an apartment with my name on the buzzer, Jason Bourne. The place looked normal, lived in, too normal. Drawers full of passports, weapons, and a spare key. Then someone broke in, an assassin, silent and fast. But I was faster. I didn't hesitate. I fought. I won. I was starting to understand. I wasn't just some guy, but I still didn't know who I used to be. Marie was scared. She wanted out. But in the end, she stayed. She told me she'd never met anyone like me. We followed the trail to a name, Conklin, the man behind all of this. And slowly, the pieces came together. I had been a covert CIA operative, part of a black ops program called Treadstone. My mission was to eliminate a former African dictator, Wombosi. But that night, I couldn't pull the trigger. He was holding his child, and I hesitated. I was shot. I lost everything. Turns out, I chose not to kill, and that choice, that's what made me who I am now. I found Conklin. He wanted me to come back, to the program, the orders, the life I no longer recognized. I said no. I set a trap, forced him to come at me with everything. I survived. He didn't. But I knew they'd never stop hunting me. I told Marie, "I'm not Jason Bourne anymore. I need to find out who I really am." She asked, "So, who are you now?" I said, "I wish I knew." Months passed, and then I found her. She was on a quiet island running a little scooter shop by the beach. The sun was shining. She looked happy. I walked up to her and smiled. "It's a little hard to find. Think I could rent a scooter?" She looked up at me with a soft smile and said, "You have ID?" I laughed. Maybe for the first time I was finally alive. I used to think that knowing your name meant knowing who you are. But now I know it's not that simple. I had many names, many passports, many lives, but none of them felt real. The truth is, I was trained to follow orders, to kill without asking why. But something inside me changed. I made a choice, and that choice, not to kill, showed me that I'm still human. I don't remember my past, but I know who I want to be now. Not a weapon, not a ghost, just someone trying to live. Maybe I'll never get all the answers. Maybe that's okay, because sometimes starting over, without a name, without a plan, is the only way to find your true self. And maybe, just maybe, peace doesn't come from remembering who you were, but from choosing who you want to be.